Hello, my name is Jakub. I'm the CTO within Prodeen. And today I want to talk to you about trust. And the trust is with AI specifically and AI tools. More and more, we see the increased usage in the tools like ChatGPT in everyday's work, whether it's your personal or professional lives. But one of the things that we also see is a bit growing mistrust in terms of the information that is being provided specifically for the compliance work and your day-to-day work, where you need to be certain that the information that you validate is 100% correct. I wanted to show you some of the use cases, kind of what we are talking about, either within Prodeen or other AI tools. But first, I will actually start with ChatGPT. So what I did, I have a specific question. I want to know whether curcuma or turmeric is allowed in hard candy in US and Brazil. The implied question is as a colorant or additive. Now I have this question. What I get is the deep research report which I want because I want to have the most comprehensive answer I can get. So this would be after 30 minutes I get a report which is quite comprehensive, and it's, to be honest, a lot of text for me to handle. But let's see. First things first, what I see is that there is a lot of good information here. So cited official sources in some cases, but also we see a lot of sources which are actually not official. Now, this is already a little bit cause for concern, because now any time that there is something that is not being validated, how can I trust it? Because now the AI doesn't differentiate kind of the secondary or primary source. And this is within US, where the primary sources are readily available. Now, if I look into Brazil, there will be a little bit similar scenario, but even a little bit more complicated, where if I look at the sources being cited, some of them are what I see Anvisa, but this document, to be honest, I don't know whether this is the correct regulation. I know that this is coming from the official government website, but I also know this is from 2020, and I don't know if this information is still valid or not being amended. So let me have a look going through this. So there is a lot of other secondary sources. Again, AI doesn't differentiate between these. But I know essentially the information should be coming from Anvisa. So what I did is that I told AI, and because I have some little bit of background knowledge, I know the important answer I'm looking for is within Anvisa IN 211. That's kind of my predisposed knowledge. So I tell the AI, hey, can you check IN 211 specifically for me? Now, if you look, there is a lot of information about IN 11, but all of the information is from secondary sources, and none of these links are actually pointing to the correct version of IN 11. Or it's actually secondary source. For example, even in here, this is not the official Anvisa link, which is kind of having the latest version that I'm interested in. So even if I prompted, hey, can you get me the official link from Anvisa? Or if I do the work, find the link, I tell the AI, hey, please use this link and revalidate the information you provided to me with this information. Actually, in this scenario, AI is not able to access it because it's a protected website. Now, is this something that can be solved? And how can I kind of trust this information now if I know that through this entire report, it didn't actually look to the correct one piece of legislation that I actually need because it's not accessible? But we also see this kind of interaction as something that is problematic, because what I have in here is a lot of text and a lot of references and a lot of links. And even though I saved a lot of time on the initial research, there is a lot of time that is left for me to go through the links and validate the information being provided. And it's still the work I need to do manually. Now, our thinking is, can we help in this somehow, right? Is there a better way? Not only in terms of pointing AI to the correct sources, but also in terms of interaction where we don't want the regulatory expert's job to just be there reviewing AI generated reports and be taken down from the driving seat. So what do we do within Prodeen? So just recently, with the help of our community and clients and testers, we developed a new playbook within Prodeen called Companion. The keyword is the companion. We don't want a black box that just does some work and without any visibility, and you are left with just a wall of text that you end up reviewing. So how can we use it? Let me see. And I will do the same question I did in ChatGPT. Now, there will be some initial thinking, there will be some initial preparation, but we should see some first results coming in. Okay, so the AI created the first plan. You can quickly review, but the key thing in here is triggered compliance research plan. This step is kind of mimicking what you would do as an expert. It's first, let me understand which documents are relevant for this specific query, right? And I can do this across 2 markets, I can do this across 10 markets potentially. And the goal in here is to provide more visibility for you as a user into the thinking process of the AI. Okay. So I see United States is finished, Brazil will be finishing shortly. And what is inside? What is inside is not an answer first. What it is a set of documents that the AI thinks is relevant and what is the information in those documents that are relevant. Now, you can review whether this list is correct and we will see later on. But what is also important that if I look, for example, in Brazil, and I'm not an expert in Brazil, what I get out of the box is a really nice overview of the documents which are relevant for this, right? So, and why the documents are relevant. So essentially what I see in here that there are actually 2 documents that I should be worried about, which is the RDC 778, which has been later on replaced by the 211. And those 2 documents should be considered together. And which is kind of cool piece of information for me if I'm not an Brazilian expert. Now, what the AI is doing in the meantime is running queries across all of those documents in parallel. So let me have a look what is going on. So what I see in here that, for example, what is important is that, okay, I see CFR 73600. And the question that is being asked on this document specifically, I can kind of quickly review it and see, okay, this is actually the document that I want. I can review the answer, whether it's correct or not. And I can do this for every single document. So now I can validate all of the CFR documents. While the AI is working, I can already start my validation. Are we going into the correct documents? Are we taking the correct information? Did the AI understand the nuances of the compliance question correctly? Now, there will be, if I look at Brazil, this is the key piece of information I need to validate. So this is the 211 document that I'm interested in. I can quickly double check the original version, and the original version is the correct one, which is the appropriate one. Plus, it highlights me the position where I should be looking into, which is, I think, quite useful in this kind of large document. And I know that this is the latest version, is a consolidated version, and it's not the amendment or repealed one, right? Now, if I close this, let me see what the AI did. And now it synthesizes a short answer with the correct references. If I want, I can ask the AI, hey, draft me an email, put it in the document that I can download as PDF, format it in whatever format I'm used to, in whatever template I need. This is all the features available in Prodeen. One of the cool things that we usually see users doing is that I do report across multiple markets, maybe 10 markets, and I create a spreadsheet with comparison as a table whether certain substances are allowed or under which conditions. But in this case, I think the AI did quite well. I wanted to show, but I was running this before. I wanted to show you how I actually came in and took control over something that I thought AI did badly, and how we allowed kind of you to import your own expertise and corrections into the AI, because the system is not and will not be in kind of 100% always correct. So I did the same question. I went through the similar documents, but in this scenario, actually AI decided to look into RDC 259. I kind of reviewed the document, but what I see is that this has been actually repealed, and I should be checking as well 727 RDC. So how do I solve this? AI did a mistake, so what do? Do I report a bug? Or only thing that I did is that because I just quickly reviewed it, it's a simple piece of information I can quickly validate. I just told it, can you also check RDC 727? And that's all I did. And if you see, AI now understands that I'm in the context of Brazil. It knows it should be looking into Anvisa. And as well, it understood that, okay, now this is the enforced version. It helps you kind of understand that you are now in the correct document and extracting from additional information that you needed from this document. And kind of can give you additional steps that you might want. With this approach, there are a couple of important building blocks that we can do, right? Because now we can build these research plans, so you can, for example, understand, okay, which documents are relevant for your specific topic, or monitor those documents or do certain things with those documents. So one of the things that you can do is utilize Prodeen signals. Maybe I know that these documents are relevant for me, so at some point, let me create a monthly newsletter, which looks, for example, in here, we have one set up for food contact materials, looking at specific websites that I'm specifically interested in. And in those, every week, I will receive an email with a summary that looks something like this, and specific activities within the markets that I'm interested in, specifically for the topics that are relevant for me. So in this case, food contact materials, but it could be anything else. Or it could be just monitoring for new limits. And speaking of limits, because we now can work with those regulations, we know which are the ones that are official ones, we know how to read them, how to access them. We can build additional functionality on top of it. So for example, in here, I will just tell it, hey, by the way, there is this kind of website with additives and caloric agents. Can you quickly extract for me all of the additives? And this will be quite a huge list. If you do this within ChatGPT, this is almost impossible task. Now, I will just specify that I want Canada, and what the agent will do is kick off a specific process that gives me the full additives list. But the cool thing about it, so let me see if I can, so it already kind of categorized the document, extracted key features, and already started parsing all of those documents. It will be quite a long list. So already you see it started with 16 limits. Now the list is slowly growing, and there will be quite a lot after that. So 25, and at the end there will be like upwards of a couple of hundred limits that will be extracted. I can get a preview, so everything is nicely structured into kind of the context, the specific limit, the substance, the usages, the functions that are relevant for me. And what I have as well, as this number goes up, what I have is nicely downloadable format. So now we are kind of supporting like JSON, but the key thing is that if you have your own internal system where you manage your own kind of limits database, this format can be customized for you, right? So now instead of manually writing those values, you can say, okay, I need the values in this specific format. there is a button, you just download it or connect to your system automatically. And while this is running, I can now grab my coffee and finish the work. I hope this demo was useful and you found something interesting into how we do things at Prodeen. If you check our website, there is a sign up button. From now on, from this week, we are actually opening up Prodeen where you can register for free, try out this regulatory companion, see how it fits. If you have any specific markets that you need supporting, let us know. Currently, we support some markets in Europe, most North America and South America, and we are adding more markets soon. So let us know about your own needs. And if you saw something interesting as well in terms of the monitoring of regulations, keeping up to date, or doing certain specific actions with those regulations, let us know and we can build up the specific playbook for your use cases. So go to prodeen.com, register for free, and I hope I will see you on our platform soon.